Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Udayantasto hi abhadrani vidunoti suhritsatam nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaye bhagavate uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining today's Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll be uh, covering the last verse of the chapter 33. Along with, after that, we'll go to the chapter summary. Second. We'll be reading verse 37. Ya idam anushrunoti yo abhidathe kapila muner matam atma yoga guhyam bhagavati krutadhi suparna ketau upalabate bhagavat padaravindam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The description of the dealings of Kapila Deva and his mother is very confidential, and anyone who hears or reads this narration becomes a devotee of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is carried by Garuda, and he thereafter enters into the abode of the Supreme Lord to engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Purport. The narration of Kapila Deva and his mother Devahuti is so perfect and transcendental that even if one only hears or reads this description, he achieves the highest perfectional goal of life, for he engages in the loving service of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no doubt that Devahuti, who had the Supreme Lord as her son and who followed the instructions of Kapila Deva so nicely, attain the highest perfection of the human life. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Sundara Goswamitra. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Itinamane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachacha Deshatarani. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gaur Bhaktavanda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, assembled devotees, and please forgive me for any shortcomings. And thank you for the opportunity to cover the last verse of this chapter and also a chapter 33 summary. This is the last chapter in the Canto 3. So as this verse talks about, whoever listens to this couple of teachings and this pastime, and they certainly become a pure devotee, and they can achieve the highest perfection goal of life. And here in this chapter, Devahuti has shown by example how she followed the instruction by Kapila Muni and all the studies she performed, and how she achieved the highest perfection of the life. So, so this chapter is titled "The Activities of the Kapila Dev." So in the first few verses, Kapila Dev, Devahuti, prays to the Lord Kapila. So when the Devahuti, the mother of Kapila, wife of Kardama Muni, when she became free from all the ignorance concerning the devotional service, then she offered the her obeisances to the Lord Kapila, and she recites the few verses glorifying him. And in the first few verses, Devahuti said that Brahma is said to be unborn, and he takes birth from the lotus flower, which grows from Lord's abdomen. But you chose, you are the source of all unlimited universes, but still you took the birth from the womb of a common woman like me. And she also talks about how Lord's energy is very inconceivable. He is he distributes his energies into the interactions of material mode of nature, and he also, for that reason, the creation and maintenance and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation takes place, and he has a diverse energies, can act multifariously. And also she called him like a Vatapatra Sai. You have taken birth from my abdomen, and uh, and your belly is, you have all the cosmic manifestation in your belly, and you lie down on a leaf of a banyan tree, and just like a small baby, you look the two of your lotus feet. And he also says that, you have assumed this body. So what is the, why Lord appears, right? You assume this body, and what his purpose is to diminish the sinful activities of the fallen soul, enrich their knowledge in devotion, and give them a liberation. So in a way, she tells that, you have appeared in order to distribute transcendental knowledge to all your dependents. And it also says that even a person born in a family of dog eater immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices if he once utter the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and chants about him, hears about pastime, offer him obeisances, and even remembers him. So that is the, how glorious the chanting of the holy name and glory of the chanting, glories of the holy name also, mentioned by her. And next few verses talks about how Lord Kapila gave the final instruction to Devahuti and he left. See, Lord Kapila, satisfied by the words of her mother, she went towards her very affectionately and replied with a gravity. So in the 10th verses, it talks about, Lord Kapila said that, my dear mother, the path of self-realization, which I have already instructed to you very easily, you can execute this system without any difficulty. By following, you shall very soon be liberated, even within this current body itself. And also, Devahuti ask for, fearlessness, and Lord gives her a abhayam. My dear mother, who are actually transcendentalists, certainly follow my instruction. I have given to you already. And surely you shall be freed from material, fearful material contamination. And after this, Maitreya Muni says that, Lord Kapila, after instructing her mother, took permission from her and left home, and his mission has been fulfilled now. And then the next few verses, 13 to 32, talks about how Devahuti achieved the perfection as she got the knowledge from um, Lord Kapila instructions on how to follow. So she started following, as instructed by her son. Devahuti started the practice of Bhakti Yoga in that very ashrama, and she practiced the Samadhi in the house of Kardama Muni, on the river, on the banks of the river Saraswati. So she began takes 3 times bath, and she follows the austerity. She becomes thin. She doesn't care much about her material needs. And if you see that, Kardama Muni created a with his mystic powers, big palace, all the amenities. She has all the opulence, given by Kardama Muni. Her house is full of made of, first class marble, and doesn't her house doesn't need any light. Light from the illuminated by the rays of jewels itself, brings all the light into the house. And it house is, beautifully surrounded by the gardens, and also it explains how opulently, how much, opulence, wealth, and facilities and amenities, Kardama Muni provided to Devahuti. But she was, detached from all those things. She could be able to be, practice devotional service, detached from it, and following a lot of austerity. She gave up all that such comforts. So, and as we know, Devhuti's husband already left the home and accepted the renounced order of life, and the only son, Kapila, also left home. So she was aggrieved at the loss of her son, just as a cow affected with her calf dies. And so as she started, meditating on Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapil Dev, she becomes very unattached, and also very, sincere in her devotional service. So, and then as she did a serious engagement in the devotional service, she fully absorbed in the meditation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She was freed from all the designations of material concept of life. All the material punks are disappeared, and she attained the transcendental bliss. Once she is situated in that eternal trance and freed from the illusion by the, impelled by modes of material nature, she forget about her material body. It's just like it compared by that, one forgets his different bodies in a dream. Similarly, she forgets her material body. And by following the Kapila Muni's instruction, Devahuti became liberated from material bondage, and the place where the Devahuti achieved her perfection is called, known all over the three worlds as a Siddhapada. So, and at the end, the material elements of her body have melted into the water, and now as a flowing river, so which is a sacred of all the rivers. And then next few verses talks about activities of Lord Kapila. When after he left his father's hermitage and took a permission from his mother, he went towards the northeast. So northeast seems to be a very auspicious, and he was passing in the northern direction. So all the denizens of Charanas, Gandharvas, all the munis, damsels of heavenly planet, everybody prayed and offered him all the respects, and the ocean offered him the oblations and place of residence. Even now, Kapila Muni is staying there in trance of, in the trance for the deliverance of the conditioned souls in the three worlds. And that's what, he become a, he's the one introduced the Sankhya philosophy, and all these devotees worship him. And at the end, last two verses talks about, what is the benefit, what is the falashruti one gets by hearing this pastime. So, and as the descriptions of the Kapila and his mother and their activities are the purest of all pure discourses. As we heard many times, Krishna's name, his pastime, everything is pure and everything is transcendental. Here, listening and hearing the descriptions of Kapila and his mother also very transcendental, and it's the purest of pure discourse. So in the last verse is talk about anyone who hears and reads this narration of, becomes a devotee of a supreme personality of Godhead, and thereafter they enter into the supreme Lord's abode and also engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So as we have every day we are listening Srimad Bhagavatam, it's too much purifying and very purifying and all. Only thing we need to do is we need to continue our sadhana, follow the regulated principles, and listen to Krishna Katha, engage in the Krishna activities. We will surely go back home to back Godhead. So with that, we completed the third canto. So just to give a, I don't, even I didn't forget what are all the contents of the third canto, but I just researched, like checked on the Google. So what we learned, or what third canto is, third canto is titled as a status quo. So what, third canto begins with, Bhagavatam itself. This canto has three stories. Initially, we heard about Vidura's pilgrimage, Vidura, how Vidura goes to Uddhava, Vidura asked Uddhava how the universe began and how it shaped into the current thing today. But Maitreya explains that, uh, I think Vidura goes to Uddhava, asks the question, and they have to explain. But Uddhava recommended, request him to go to Maitreya. So all this conversation is between Vidura and Maitreya, Canto 3 and Canto 4. So in the Canto 3, Vidura's pilgrimage, and also we have read about the Lord Varahadev appearance and his adventures. That is the second part, and the third part is the one which we completed today. So Lord Kapiladev teachings. So these are the main stories of Lord Kapila's teaching in this Canto 3, and Canto 4 and Canto 3 both predominantly describe the topics of the Sarga and Visarga, primary creation and secondary creation, and also the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. So, and third canto also describes the time. We also read about the embryology, family life, how how one can conduct the perfect gruhastha life, how ideal husband to be, or how ideal wife to be, and also Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma, and ultimately the Bhakti Yoga is the, or Sankhya philosophy of Bhakti Yoga is the main way achieve the purpose of the life. By doing this, devotional service, all other yogas is automatically covered or automatically taken care. And in the coming to the fourth canto, which we start tomorrow, it has very rich content. I think it talks about instructive and inspiring stories of great personalities like Lord Shiva, Suniti, Dhruva Maharaj, Narada Muni, Anga, Purdu, and the Prachetas. And also it also shows the extraordinary examples of the bhakti. And I think and also it also we also learn about the unfavorable attributes of in the bhakti from the mistakes of the characters like Daksha, Suruchi, Veena, Indra, and Prachina Brarhi. So we learn what are great personalities who are very examples of bhakti, as well as how some of the devotees had unfavorable attributes like these few personalities. And fourth canto establishes the superiority of the bhakti over the karma and jnanas, especially the glory of the process of Shravanam. With that, I can conclude. Please forgive me for any shortcomings. Vanjakalpatarubhascha, Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha, Patitanam